The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNC Now.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees all things new. I am Zaira Tumang and I'm streaming live from Quezon City. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in the world.
And hi, I'm Joseph Sylvester and I'm streaming from Parañaque City. And also, good afternoon. Welcome to the world premiere of Blockchain News and Education on TNC.
Hi, my name is Zaira Tumang, and I'm very glad that I'm here right now with my co-founder and my very dashing debonair co-host, Sly. I'd like to introduce myself first. I am now venturing into the world of finance, and not only hopefully for myself, but for most of the Filipinos who would want to have financial freedom. But my background really is I'm a marketing and advertising expert, having closed about, let's just say, a couple of brands under my belt the past 5, 6 years. And my real estate around 10 years now. Our expertise mainly is to joint venture project, having about multi-billion pesos of projects here in the country. So I am very excited to introduce to you guys Crypto Chic. Our mission is to be enable a lot of our community to gain and humanity to gain financial freedom through education, innovation, advocacies, and partnerships. And hopefully, you can see through us a world where decentralized finance and currency is integrated to the people's daily lives.
All right. And hi, my name is Joseph Sylvester. I'm also known as Sly. Okay. Um, I'm a blockchain applications developer and an IT specialist. I've been doing IT for a little bit over 10 years and blockchain development and community management for a little bit over 3 now. My expertise is basically, as of right now, blockchain technologies, smart contracts, Web3 technologies, and my stance on crypto. Yeah, I would like to build basically a community of students, users, and people who are like-minded in terms of financial freedom as well. So, with that being said, let's begin with today's episode while we wait for Miss Zaira to come back. Okay. All right. So, yes, we are professionals. We are professionals in our own field. So, the show is geared towards preparing individuals and businesses who don't know what cryptocurrencies or blockchain technology is all about, or maybe are on the fence in terms of whether blockchain or blockchain technologies, cryptocurrencies, it's right for me. That's what we're trying to answer on the show. But what we want to do to for the audience is basically educate and help you understand these technologies, these cryptocurrencies at the most basic levels and how you can utilize them for your own needs. Okay. So, so let's start first with we want to explain blockchain and cryptocurrencies and help people understand what they're all about. Okay. So we do understand the cryptocurrencies have been around for over a decade, but it hasn't really started taking off until just recently. Okay, so if we can show that slide. Okay, so as you can see on this slide, basically, um, right around, let's say 2009 is when Bitcoin kind of appeared. And then all of a sudden, it was probably around 2015, 2016, we start seeing a lot of interest. What you're basically seeing is basically wallet addresses being created, starting from 2010, moving onwards up until 2022. Okay, so um, although in terms of cryptocurrency, the focus is mostly on crypto finance as of right now. I think everybody who is watching the show has heard of cryptocurrencies, and they're more introduced to cryptocurrencies or blockchain in terms of the financial part. Okay, so in the form of trading. Okay, so if we can show that. All right, perfect. So we will go a bit into detail later in the show. However, if you missed anything that we have said, or if there's anything that interests you, we want you guys to come back to this episode and replay it, and hopefully you'll grasp some of the topics that we've been discussing in this episode. Okay? So, hi Zara, welcome back.
Hey, sorry about that. I guess one of the things that we need to improve in this country is our internet. It's very important for our blockchain technology.
Very true, very true. So, yeah, so one of the things when we talk about, internet as being one of the biggest issues is that cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies require internet. Um, Again, it doesn't have to be fast. Fast is good though. Okay. No one will complain if it's fast. However, slow internet, of course, you'll still have a communication with the blockchain. However, fast internet is always good. Yeah. Don't you agree?
Mhm. Yes, to agree. Is this the reason why you guys are smart contract guys are coding it during at night? Because it's faster?
Well, surprisingly, if yeah, actually, because less usage. However, just keep in mind the normal day people who use the internet are kind of, they're done. They're done with the work part. So what's left? Gamers. So and programmers like myself. But
Mm.
again, that's my personal opinion. Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
I'm
Mhm.
sure they're all pumped up to know more, and I think some people might be lost or even so focused on the particular topic or any subject that we will discuss that they will forget other topics such as the internet and when to use it, as we discussed, is also very important. With cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, there are so many things out there that will blow up your mind that we will recommend viewers like you to come back and rewatch Crypto Chic episodes. So before we begin the show, Sly, can you please give a general overview of what we will be discussing today?
Yeah, sure. So the general overview. So let's begin. So there are a lot of topics we'll try to discuss on today's episode. So, for example, let's talk about one of the topics is we will discuss the brief history of cryptocurrency. Okay, if you can show that slide, please.
Hmm.
Okay, all right. And then next after that would be understanding blockchain technology. Okay, next would after that is so this is the history, understanding of the blockchain technology, the impact of cryptocurrency and blockchain to the global market, such as individuals and businesses, why they exist and why it matters for individuals and businesses. What
I
are
wonder.
altcoins? Yeah, yeah. And we'll try to get through as much as we can with this episode. So, altcoins and stablecoins. Which blockchain suits you? And what are crypto wallets and their purpose?
Cool, cool. So, wow. Ang dami nun ah. That was really quite a list. Parang ako palang ang naisip ko altcoins, like crypto wallets. It looks so simple because like physically have a wallet, but now you're talking about like a crypto wallet. But I know the people who are watching us right now cannot wait to learn with us, and hopefully you, the audience, are prepared. So, kuha na ng papel at ballpen or your phone or copy it like everything else that we are talking about right now. So, we believe that this is the best starting point for everybody, especially those starting out on the fence. I mean, when I started this, YouTube lang ako eh, and some cryptocurrency blockchain gurus are just popping left and right, but nobody really is interested to get to know me and what do I want and how do we connect it to blockchain. So we are really hoping in Crypto Chic Academy that you guys will talk to us so we would know more about you and what you want to do with blockchain so that we can educate you. So let's discuss a brief history on cryptocurrency. All cryptocurrencies all started out with Bitcoin as early as 2009. Can we please show that picture? There. Yan, grabe. All cryptocurrency started 2009. Some believe that Bitcoin was brought about the market crash of 2008. And speaking of market, those people who's doing forex right now, nakaka-relate kayo ngayon, di ba? However, the statement is the most commonly discussed and accepted by mostly cryptocurrency communities and hardcore enthusiasts just like Sly. Bitcoin was created by Satoshi Nakamoto, and whoever he is, maybe he's watching us. This could be an alias as a single person or maybe a group of people. I don't know. We don't know. Hindi pa rin siya nagre-resurface right now. I mean, there's a lot of people claiming that they are Satoshi Nakamoto, but nobody can really prove that he is. And what we do know is that Bitcoin has become a store of value, and as it is a deflationary currency. Take note, the term deflationary. What we need to understand is that all money around the world, whether it's pesos, Philippine pesos, US dollar, Japanese yen, or any fiat currency, is prone to inflation. Masakit man sabihin, right now, it really hurts, right? Our inflation right now is gone crazy. How much is the gas right now? Which means the value of the currency at certain point of time no longer has the same value from years later. So, example, when I was in high school, okay, wag na natin computein, no? When I was in high school, back then, it was roughly what? 10? 15? Actually, around 10 pesos in 50 ml. But as we move forward today, how much is a 500 ml Coke? 25, 30 pesos. Pag nasa BGC ka, times 2, times 3, right? So, what really happened? The purchasing power of our dear Philippine pesos devalued. So, what we have to do right now is to pay more of that to get the same thing of value. So, anong kinalaman ng Bitcoin doon? Anong ginagawa ng Bitcoin doon? What Bitcoin does is that the inverse of which is deflation. Bitcoin, when it was roughly less than 1 peso in 2009, take note, one peso, piso, back in 2009, and you count it right now, 2020 now, 2022, has now skyrocketed after a decade to roughly around 2 to 3 million pesos. Piso ha, 2 to 3 million pesos. However, it's roughly over 1 million pesos. So pagpalagay na natin wag ng 2 to 1 million pesos in decade. Using the same example, using 500 ml Coke bottle in 90s, if Bitcoin and it around like would let's say 500 more or less 5 each has cost. So that's to today and only medyo mahina ako sa math would spend only 0.000061 for BTC or Bitcoin, which is roughly the cost nowadays for a 500 ml bottle of Coke at the Sari store, which is now 15 pesos. Not all cryptocurrencies act the same way as Bitcoin, okay? Don't get me wrong. We treat other cryptocurrencies as a store of value. Take note, store of value. Those other cryptocurrencies we will all call altcoins. To briefly summarize, altcoins are cryptocurrencies that are not looked as a store of value, but what represents is that the projects that are using blockchain technology. So maybe we can show that picture again. In a way, you can look at them as stock or financial instruments, but in the realm of cryptocurrencies. Each altcoin represents a specific blockchain project. Let's take a look at two examples. My favorite, Ethereum and Solana. Now, we show, again, another picture of it side by side. Ayan. So there are many more out there, but these two represents an evolving technology starting way back in 2014 with Ethereum blockchain. While the Solana blockchain is quite very recent, the blockchain was introduced publicly around 2020. So 2 years old pa lang. Diba? But it was founded way back 2017 pa. Ethereum introduced the concept of smart contract technology built into the cryptocurrency blockchain. So again, going back, smart contract. By the way, in Crypto Chic, we write smart contracts. Ethereum not only has its own blockchain for transactions, but users can use Ethereum to build decentralized applications, or what we call dApps, with Ethereum coin, ranging from creating your own token to DeFi and NFT applications. Now we can show that picture. Okay. For Solana, it's the same concept as it borrows from understanding of Ethereum. Solana works the same way it has its own coin called Solana. And it has its own ecosystem where people can use the coin to token creation, to DeFi, to NFT, and smart contracts for storing value, or storing data rather, on the blockchain. Interesting, isn't it? So, Slide, what's your take on this?
Yeah, so in a sense, I mean, as of today, we have roughly a little bit over 3,000 cryptocurrencies, and it's continuously growing. Okay, this combines not just the coins, but also the tokens, which make up cryptocurrencies. Okay, so it's pretty wild out there. It's basically the wild, wild west again. Yeah. So yeah, so a little bit over 3,000 cryptocurrencies. So taking what you just said, let's understand the impact on cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology in regards to the Philippines. Okay. So yeah, so when we talk about cryptocurrencies, what is known to only a handful of people back around, let's say 2011. Okay, those are basically the early investors into cryptocurrencies. Basically, at that point in time,
Mm-hmm.
the understanding of blockchain technology wasn't quite there, but the financial aspect was actually understood. Okay, and those who got
Siyempre,
into
pera-pera lang di ba?
oh, it's always going to be about money, but that's who we are. We're about the money, but at the same time, of course, again, we also teach the education part. So let me just show you this little side here. Okay, so in
Mm-hmm.
terms of, let's say, in terms of the amount of people back then, again, uh, I don't have any charts before 2019 for this one. However, what I'm trying to convey in this chart is that people actually took the advantage. There was very little people in terms of people buying up very cheap bitcoins and then selling them off during the peaks, such as 2017, 2019, every 2022, 2021, something like that. So everyone's basically,
Mm-hmm.
the strategy here is that when we're introduced to cryptocurrencies, everyone starts off as basically an investor. Okay, and as an investor, you know it's a very simple mindset of you want to get in cheap to a technology. In this case, it's Bitcoin, and then basically selling off
Mm-hmm.
high. It's a very common strategy, usually done by
Mm-hmm.
Warren Buffett. The term that we use in the community is actually, it's called hodl, which is hold on to dear life. Okay. Now,
Huddle.
yeah. So I think that term's good.
HODL, no?
Yeah.
HODL, right?
ODL. Right.
ING. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, hodl. So basically, what happened during these times as cryptocurrency exchanges kind of like sprung out was that they introduced the concept of the spot market. So this is where people started actually buying up the cryptocurrencies. Okay, so again, the common idea or the common investment strategy way back when, let's say, Bitcoin hit basically a lot of the now major exchanges was to buy it low, sell it high on the exchange. Okay, now
Mm-hmm.
as I mentioned, that a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges have come about just recently, especially with the inclusion of a lot of more wallets being created, a lot of more interest taking place on the financial side of
Mm-hmm.
cryptocurrency and blockchain. Okay, so you have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of platforms open up. You got Binance, you got Bybit, and I can name a whole bunch right now. Kraken, if you want. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
what they've introduced over time is the ability for traders to come in and do spot trading. Then after a couple years,
Mm-hmm.
they introduced margin or leverage trading, followed by, if you're an advanced trader, and this came actually more from the forex or from more advanced markets, I'd say. They introduced perpetuals and futures trading, okay, which is kind of
Wow,
advanced.
dami na nating terms. But don't worry, they will be guided, right?
Yeah, they'll be guided. Um, but that will be for probably another episode. We'll explain more on those. How about that? Okay.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah. So when we talk about today, individuals and businesses can take this opportunity to grow their portfolios, okay, using either a
Mm.
crypto wallet or using a centralized or decentralized exchange. Okay, and through the use of on ramps and off ramp services, and there's quite a lot here in the Philippines in terms of converting
Mm-hmm.
fiat to crypto and then crypto to fiat or Philippine peso. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so in a way, I think that kind of covers the basics on the financial side. So let's
Mm-hmm.
take a look at the business impact of blockchain on industries. How about that? Okay.
Mm. Yeah, sure. Bring it on.
All right. So to understand, we must expose the elephant in the room, which is data privacy and security. Okay. This is what actually
Ayan, favorite natin yan eh. Yeah.
yeah, it is, and it's actually the most common questions I get asked. Okay. So when it comes to, let's say,
Mhm,
blockchains like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, like you mentioned, as well as other
mhm,
known public blockchains, let me just
mhm,
try to explain this. So what I've just mentioned is basically a public blockchain. Okay, basically allows anyone to view the transactions between wallet addresses and view. Okay, key here is everyone
Mm-hmm.
can view the data publicly on sites uh, called block explorers. Every
Mm-hmm.
blockchain out there will have its own, let's say, block explorer. Now, the most notable
Mm-hmm.
example, okay, is let's say if you're using Ethereum, okay, they have their own block
Mm-hmm.
explorer, and it's called Etherscan. Okay? Same
Mm-hmm.
thing with Bitcoin. They will have its own block explorer. So that way anyone can view the transactions. Okay, meaning this actually acts as a receipt. Okay. Now,
Oh, may
there's
resibo
more.
rin.
Yeah, there's more.
Buti pa
And
dyan, may
remember,
resibo din.
yeah. Now here's the thing. Remember what I said, data privacy and security. I just mentioned that public blockchains, basically this is public. This anyone can view this. Now here's the thing.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, you have to understand, we're talking about business here. So most traditional corporate businesses do not like to expose specifically this kind of data because this is like accounting data if you think about it. Okay.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
it exposes private data regardless of the transactions if they're done anonymously via wallet
Mm-hmm.
addresses. Yeah. So this is a
Mm-hmm.
basic wallet address on for Bitcoin. Okay. Now, please do not send any cryptos to this. This is basically an example. Okay. So please don't send any cryptos
Sa'yo ba
here.
yan?
No, no,
Is
no,
that
no.
yours?
Just FYI, FYI. This is just a sample. Do not send anything to this QR code, please. Okay.
Okay,
So
great.
now, however, in regards to public blockchains, for everyone else, data privacy and security is not a concern because at the individual level, meaning the public level, everybody who uses blockchain, it's not a threat to the individual. Why? Well, in
Mm-hmm.
simply put, because your wallet address represents you on the blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing
Yeah.
more that you're giving out. Plus, no one knows your name. Yeah. So now the
Mm.
question is, where's the benefit of blockchain? It sounds like it's more useful for the public, the individuals. Okay, so to
It
answer that
is, it
question,
is.
no, it does. Yeah, right. So now, so to answer the question, is so to answer the question is that yes, blockchain was designed with the public, with the individuals, everybody out there, in mind. However, in regards to businesses, this is where decentralized applications start to shine, and startups and existing companies can start utilizing blockchain through both centralized and decentralized means. And we'll discuss this a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So Sly, you mentioned decentralized applications. Can you explain more on that regarding the data security and privacy? You said this topic is hopefully, there are businesses or those people who may want to go into blockchain technology, or they have already an existing company and they want to include blockchain, that public blockchain can also be used in a secure way to protect data privacy.
How about this? How about we take a little commercial break and then I'll get back and answer that question. Is that cool?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, let's take a break.
TNC is a live stream platform of online shows for people on the go. Please watch all our shows as seen on screen. Imagine having your own show, your own playlist, your own content, but we make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of our viewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our vision is to become a global 24/7 live stream channel that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. Watch Crypto Chic by Molly every Saturday at 1:30. You can watch live on a replay via Facebook or YouTube. Follow us on IG. Listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search hashtag TNC Now. For sponsorships, please email now at thenewchannel.com or send us a DM. Enjoy these life-changing shows because we made them for you.
All right.
Okay. So, Sai, ang tagal kong inintay yung sagot mo. So, can we now proceed to your answer?
All right. So here's the thing about blockchain is that because it's open, it's an open. Basically all major blockchains out there right now are basically public. They're open to basically everybody. But there are
Mm.
services, there are blockchains out there that provide the service of what is known as permission systems. Okay. So we
Mm.
need not look at blockchain not so much as a thing we call open or public blockchain because there are technologies out there that use what is known as permissioned blockchain networks. Okay? Permission
Mm.
blockchain networks. So if we can show that slide, please. Okay, so permission blockchain networks. Now, I'm going to go slowly into how this works using a few examples that are out there in terms of what kind of services that
Mm.
offer this. Okay, so one of the best examples that recently just came out, however, I think it's been out there for maybe about a year or two. It's called BSN or the Blockchain Based Service Network. Okay. Now, although most users may find that technologies coming from specific regions of the world kind of, you know, they're kind of skeptical. Is it really going to do
Mhm.
what it says
Mhm.
it does? However, I would say that BSN has proven that, public blockchains can be contained as an intranet type of system. So, just so
Mhm.
viewers who are not IT, familiar with the IT lingo, basically, an internet basically is like for you and me right now on the show. I know we have viewers watching us. I'm
Mhm.
communicating to you, and you're communicating to me.
Mhm.
That communication only takes place between just us right now in this room, I guess, this virtual room.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, minus the viewers, of course. But yeah, so what does this mean? This basically means if we deploy a decentralized application on the BSN network, only a defined set of users, whether it be a wallet address or an IP address, and by IP address, you can look up on Google and say, what's my IP? It will give it to you. That's your public IP address. You know,
Mhm.
with that, basically, you can only those who have the access can communicate, with this particular blockchain or this particular, or let's
Mhm.
say, smart contract. Okay, so it's a defined set of
Mhm.
users. Now, just to keep things simple, the BSN network goes way beyond that because I'm actually kind of testing their services actually. But
Mm.
what it does is that it keeps away the public, which could contain bad actors, and sometimes and allows only those into using the decentralized applications. Okay, so the
Mhm.
term that I just mentioned is kind of like what we call blacklisting and whitelisting. Blacklisting just basically means we don't want this particular network person IP address to
Mhm.
communicate with our network, while
Right.
whitelisting is basically saying no, we want them to communicate with our network. Okay.
Oh, parang in social media, are you saying naka-block ka, di ba? You can't get through.
Yes, they can't get through. Or
Similar, right?
communicate. Yeah, very similar. Okay, so now just keep this in mind. Again, This is not done entirely through the BSN network themselves. This is actually one of
Mm-hmm.
the services that they actually provide. Okay. So again, it's not that
Mm-hmm.
the BSN just outright blocks everybody. No, they offer the service
Mm-hmm.
of who you can communicate with. Okay. Now here's the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They utilize open blockchains like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and a few others. Okay. But they what they do is they allow these open blockchains to become permissioned, as mentioned. Who can communicate with my application? That's what I mean by
Mm-hmm.
permission. Yeah. So it's an intranet. So if I allow 5 people to communicate with my application, let's say on the Ethereum network, only those 5 wallets, IP addresses can
So,
communicate.
sim- simply put, are you saying you are giving consent, right? Is that
Yes,
it?
in a sense. It's not just that I give
Mm-hmm.
consent. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
we can go a little bit higher in terms of what kind of examples are out there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here, let's look at now. Before I go to a more higher level example, okay, because
Okay.
I think the term CBDCs have been mentioned, but I'll get to that in just a bit. If BSN network isn't your sort of thing in terms of permission blockchains, there are other services out there currently in the other services out there, such as Parity,
Okay.
Corda Blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
Multichain, and Quorum. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
this is just to name a few, and there's a whole bunch more in terms of blockchains that
Mm-hmm.
are permissioned, okay, or offer the that offer permissioned services. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now with most of the money in businesses focused on open or public blockchains, I would suggest users and businesses to start building on public blockchains first, then focus on where um, the data security or the privacy is more prevalent and secure them with common industry methods. Basically, what I'm saying here is that, as much as you want to go permission because it may suit your business, try
Mm-hmm.
uh, developing an application or a dApp on, let's say, Ethereum, on a test net. You don't have to spend real money, and see where you can
Mm-hmm.
develop from there in terms of securing or making it a little bit more private, I guess. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
dApps, they don't have to be usually out in the open or totally open to the public. But if you are an experienced team of developers, you can actually find other ways to kind of secure your decentralized application, with other layers of security on it. Okay. Now, I can
Mm.
mention things like 2FA, bioidentity, face scan, uh, email verification, or off-chain
And we
centralized
get all
user
these,
database.
right? We get all these from the usual apps day in and day out.
Right, usual apps. See, that's the key, usual apps. But with decentralized application, no. With decentralized application, it's either you're in or out, but what represents you is your wallet address. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's many ways to secure data and all that. So let's go back to permission blockchains for a bit. Is it better for business? Is permission blockchains better for business? So the answer is
Is it?
yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, but why do you think it is? It is better for business. Why?
Well, well, let's look at it this way. When we look at permission blockchains, again, remember it's an intranet. You allow who can see the data. Yeah, it's an intranet.
Mm,
Okay, so just like any financial
right.
company, user data privacy and security needs to be controlled. So permission works well in
Hmm.
this environment. Again,
Okay.
there's a public, just like in any company, there's a public facing side and then there's an internal side in regards to IT infrastructure. So, you know,
Right.
when we when we deal with data, you have to control what goes out and what goes in. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, last part is like transaction data on the blockchain. That part is public. However, when you start using permission blockchains, the transactions are stored on its blockchain, yes, but in terms of it being permissioned, again, it comes down to who you allow to see the data. Yeah. Now, this is
Hmm.
what I mean by a more higher level example. So CBDCs just came out, central bank digital currencies, right? Um,
Hmm.
and you can take it one step further in terms of people kind of
Sorry, can you see that a little bit? Can you go back to the CB? Because we have audiences and we want to introduce these companies to them and this entity to them clearly, like when
right.
we have Banco Central of Filipinas. And can you say that a little bit slower?
So CBDC, central bank digital currency, yeah,
Okay,
CBDC.
perfect.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So whether they're using cryptocurrencies or something digital, something kind of like a what we I guess Gcash or something like that, digital money. Now, when we look at
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
terms of permission blockchains at a more higher level, such as government dealing with CBDCs, a permission blockchain will allow certain regulators to communicate, let's say, with the CBDC authority in terms of, hey, if you are going to mint, not print now, this is cryptocurrencies, mint,
Yeah.
let's say a Philippine
Mint,
peso.
mint is not a mint that you eat, okay?
No, no. It's when you create. It's when you create. So
Okay.
now you have regulators, let's say internal from the government, or let's say external regulators, kind of just making sure that you know the balance is there in terms of checks and balances. They would be
Mm-hmm.
probably given access to the CBDC authorities, let's say blockchain server, let's say, and really
Mm-hmm.
review what's going on. However, because it's permission or on a permission blockchain or a permission network, only the regulators see what's going on, not us, the public.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, you can apply that actually not just to the idea of CBDC, but let's say if you're a company and let's say
Mm-hmm.
you want to get the BIR involved or something like that tax wise, and you want to share the
Uh-oh.
transaction information, you can. It would be
Yeah.
best to use, let's say, a permission blockchain instead. Now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying anything further than that. I'm just saying this is your options. Okay, what you
Yeah.
do is none of my business. But hey, I gotta play both sides here. So this
I
is
know
what
what
I
you
mean.
mean.
So just to kind of sum it up, basically this means if regulators want to monitor a particular blockchain project, CBDC or what have you, check their balance sheets, the
Mm-hmm.
liquidity of tokens, they can share
Mm-hmm.
that, discreetly with another party because they provided let's
Mm-hmm.
say, the communication link to do so. So yeah, and that's pretty much
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So what we can say is that any industry out there right now, whether in your real estate, you're in finance, or any industry, there will be a need to find the blockchain that best fits their needs. What you're saying, or whether it comes down to data security, privacy, or which blockchain has least gas fees. Well, I believe it is important to understand that there's a right fit for any company. It always comes down to each needs, di ba? Iba-iba naman ang
Yeah.
kailangan, di ba?
Hmm.
Before going to, integrate blockchain into their businesses, what we do know is that blockchain technology has evolved into this thing called Web3 or Internet 3.0. So what it basically means is that cryptocurrency and blockchain technology has reached a point in where people often use other applications to send and receive cryptocurrency can now integrate blockchain with little or no code experience. So, from people creating this own token, di ba? Kanya-kanyang token gawa dito sa Philippines or anywhere else in the world on Ethereum to building NFT storefronts, okay, Web3 has now simplified the process where the barrier to entry is no longer can you afford integrating blockchain technology to now are you willing to learn Web3 and blockchain technology. So we never had so many services, diba? Ang daming kailangan gawin out there that help or propel users, you as a user, and now as an audience or an individual to integrate blockchain into your own project or their own project or business. However, that technology is now out there. Okay? So, yun ba yun? Tama ba ako doon? Can you confirm what I'm saying right now is that iisipin mo lang is that are you willing to learn?
Yeah, actually, what you basically said is pretty much true. So when we look at what you basically just said, I remember when I first started off coding or getting into the blockchain space, I knew very little about
Mm-hmm.
blockchain, but as I continuously immersed myself, not just on
Mm-hmm.
blockchain projects like community management, but actual
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
programming and
Mm-hmm.
doing these projects, I realized what Web3, what blockchain technologies is all about. It's basically, and the services that are out there is that when I first began, I had to learn how to code. Fast forward to
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2022, there are services out there where it's like, just pop in your picture. How much do you want to sell it for? That's it. There's no coding involved. Yeah.
That's correct, Sly. So we actually have course on this that explains or teaches and helps you apply everything we discuss on this show today to suit your own needs, whether it's a simple project or your own business venture or is already a company that you're working at it or working on. It's catered to beginners, but I believe a majority of people will find it useful and can start deploying their own dApps within a couple of weeks when they enroll into these courses.
Yeah, so that's kind of true, and it's great that you brought that up. And I think we're teaching that at Crypto Chick Academy, aren't we?
Yeah, actually, we are. We are. Sure. So, on our first course, it's called Blockchain Basics for Entrepreneurs. In this course, which we will be diving into quite a few topics. Now, one, wallets. Okay. Wallets being we have a software and a hardware. Number two, an online wallet like MetaMask, BSC Wallet, Phantom. So under these topics, we have understanding mainnet, testnet faucets, how to send and receive tokens, coins, and NFTs, porting blockchain networks into MetaMask. The third topic will be the difference between coins and tokens, token standards. So, what are really token standards? Understanding what is ERC20, understanding what is ERC 721 or 115, why it matters for business. We will also educate users on the Solana blockchain and the Solana ecosystem to create our own token and send and receive it to another wallet on Solana. And number four, which is very interesting, and I think a lot of people will be starting to be curious about this, is smart contracts. What are smart contracts? Why is it so powerful? What's the purpose of a smart contract? How do they solve problems in business? Okay, that's where the money is being made. How to solve problems. And number five, is blockchain the right fit for you? Our objective really is the course on the or Crypto Chic Academy is to provide you a hands-on experience and learn these technologies to help you prepare to what it is in the future and to increasing your knowledge and experience as you and your business progress. So, oh, I forget to mention, Slide. Didn't you design this course?
Actually, I did. Now, actually, I did design this course. Yeah, and the reason why I designed this course is because I've been in the blockchain space, I think, and I want to share this with the audience. I've been in the blockchain space. I first started out in 2011 mining the Bitcoin, but it was only until recently, let's say around 2018, 2019, where I started to say, well, I get the blockchain concept, I know it already, but I want to dig a
Mm-hmm.
little bit deeper. So this is where I started my programming career, or I guess my hands-on career with blockchain. Okay, as a community manager at one point for an exchange, and then I moved on to creating blockchain dApps, smart contracts, things like that. So I got about 3.5 years of experience in terms of blockchain applications under my belt, I guess.
Mhm.
And what I've learned through all my experiences is that, and this is the reason why I designed the course, is because I need people to understand it in the perspective of, let's say you're getting into an exchange or a decentralized exchange. How do I use my wallet?
Mhm.
What's the point of my wallet? Or what about these?
Yeah.
What about these? These decentralized games out there. Everybody knows Axie Infinity, and there's a whole bunch more out there. But you do realize you're dealing with a smart contract, right? But most people don't
Right.
understand that because most people
What
aren't
smart contract is.
developers. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And the thing is, with all this experience, I'm thinking to myself, no, we got to put this in the course because how I designed it is I want to build a very solid foundation, okay, and get people to understand this foundation first before we start building
Mhm.
up the knowledge base. Okay, if we
Mhm.
start up here, everything else below doesn't make sense. So
Right.
this is the reason why I designed it, to give people more of a solid foundation and understanding of, in this case, blockchain, basic blockchain. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Well,
So
congratulations on that, Sly. I want to take this opportunity to really commend you on this. I know you put a lot of hard work and effort to really put this course together so that we can help a lot of people and we be able to educate and work with them hand in hand. I just want to say in a world premiere right now, congratulations. You're a fantastic guy. And saludo ako sa'yo. I hope those of you who are watching right now do enroll in the course on the Crypto Chic Academy. As with anything we do on this show, it's all about the love of learning and educating others to succeed. Isn't that all what we wanted? We all learn from each other, we connect to each other, and of course, we want to have all the possibilities of working together. And hopefully, while we're educating each other and learning this blockchain technology, we all succeed in our projects. Since we are about to close out on this show, if there are viewers out there that have many questions for us, we'll be glad to answer them. Just key into that keyboard, whatever it is. Okay, and we'll be waiting.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, what we're trying to establish right now, and again, this is through the experiences of Zaira and myself, is that
Hmm.
when we talk about blockchain and the communities out there, what we want to do is get a community together that is probably interested in, let's say, trading or learning how to trade, or maybe
Hmm.
blockchain development, okay, or just
Right,
basic education on blockchain. So
right.
what I've come to realize as I'm designing these courses is that there's only really three core principles, which is basically the education, the technology, and the finance. Okay, and then
Hmm.
from there you of course have your little subcategories as well underneath them.
Right.
So that's the
Hmm.
reason why I designed these courses the way that I did, and this is through a lot of the questions and a lot of the experiences out there that I've faced with many different communities. Like, hey, let's say in
Hmm.
trading, what strategy works here? Of course, as my job
Hmm.
at the time, I cannot give you calls, but I'll say, hey, this is how you use a support line, or this is how you use Fibonacci. Now let's go to blockchain
Hmm.
technology. It's like, hey, I want to create this DApp that does this for voting, or I want to create this DApp for,
Right.
let's say, this and
Voting,
that.
huh?
Right. And the
Yeah.
thing is, well, okay, let's start off with the basics. What do you need, this and that, and this is how you're going to do it. Okay. Very basic
Hmm.
stuff. And then when you look at the
Hmm.
education part, it's more like a lot of the questions start to sound the same. However, I took note of that because it's one of those things where we have to address it. If a lot of the questions are being asked multiple times, that tells me one thing: someone out there is not explaining it right, and that's the reason why that question that question keeps
Needs
being
to be
asked.
addressed.
It needs to be addressed.
Yeah. Not
Yeah,
ignored, huh?
yeah, not
Addressed.
ignore. Yeah. So in
Sometimes
terms,
kasi we just keep on pushing things aside, right? Because we don't want to like phase on it right now because medyo delicate, diba? And it's very sensitive. But in this case, there are a lot of things to explore and
Mhm.
to look into and address.
Yeah, that's true. And exploration is going to be very key for you to truly understand the education. I mean, I can teach you about, let's say, whatever trading. I can teach you
Mm-hmm.
about Web3, use Ethereum, use Solana, or I can teach you about blockchain. However, it's
Mm-hmm.
actually more on the curiosity part. Because again, just like any student versus their teacher, it's like you're lying. And then when you look up and read the materials and find out for yourself, it's like, oh no, you were correct. Because it's the idea of
Right.
the perspective of the student, yeah, that I kept in
Yeah.
mind when I wrote these courses.
That's why I just couldn't wait because right now, I'm a little bit overwhelmed with the queries coming into our team. Like they call and ask, Zaira, can you help us with this specific problem that we want to address? And since we know that I'm into real estate, some developers are now beginning to call me and ask, can we look into the blockchain because we have no idea what's going on with blockchain. We've been hearing about it, but here in the Philippines, wala kaming, we cannot trust all the things that we see on YouTube. And I want to take this opportunity and say thank you for opening that up to us, and would like to hear from you. Would like to help you. We want to really know what are your pain points. Saan ka ba namin pwedeng matulungan? What are the really goals that you have set short term and long term for your team, for your company, for you to achieve your mission? And that is actually one of the mission and vision of Crypto Chic, is to really involve ourselves deeply into each companies and himayin natin yung problema. Like what you said a while ago, we have to address them one by one, and hopefully it will work and we'll learn from each other. Hopefully we'll be succeeding in the next few projects that we will be doing with them. It's not easy. Nothing is easy in business anyway. Everything is all about effort and learning and understanding each other, talking to your customers, talking to your team internally, looking outwardly with other companies you want to involve in. And now we're here, cryptocurrencies here and blockchain technologies here. Yours truly as Crypto Chic, and Sly over here is willing to help you. So I'm your host, Crypto Chic, and my co-host is Sly over there. That's the end of our show today, and we'll see you next time on our next show where we will discuss decentralized finance, cryptos, and the masa.
All right, bye guys.
See you guys again. Bye.